Ou deixa sua bunda ardendo, ou dá tapa, 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 cara.
Welcome to Empowerment Unleashed Now, exploring your inner authority. I'm Michele Jones.
And I'm Scott Collins.
And this is the place to connect with your highest, most essential self, your most empowered self, where you can explore your inner authority and learn from others and learn more about yourself.
We talk with fascinating people from all walks of life about transformation, healing, hypnosis, astrology, physical experience of being human, and heart-centered living.
We're so thankful that you're here with us. Let's dive right on in. Hi, and welcome to Empowerment Unleashed Now. I'm Michele Jones.
I'm Scott Collins.
Scott, this is a day. We're wearing the same damn shirt.
No memo was sent.
We didn't even have time to make a change. Oh my
Yours has a spicier collar.
You look like we're part of like a bad country duo or something. All right. Well, I guess we're going to go with it. It's Aries season. We're going to be the bold twins. It's Aries season. We have Mercury retrograde. We have Venus retrograde. What else is retrograde? Is Neptune retrograde back in Pisces now? It's
No, Neptune's been hanging out in Pisces for a while, but it's direct.
29 degrees, 27.
29 on the edge, on the cliff.
On the edge. That's probably the best way to explain how I kind of feel today, because
Actually, as we're taping today, Venus is conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees. Yeah. And Venus.
And what does that mean for those of us that don't know what the hell that means?
Oh, that's a great question. So if two planets are conjunct, that means they are at direct conjunction is at the same degree within that sign, Pisces in this case. But I believe most schools of astrology consider it conjunct if it's within a 3-degree orb. So that
but what does that mean for us humans? What's it doing to us?
So an orb would be meaning from 26 then to 2 degrees. Aries would be conjunct anywhere in that area. Usually when two things are conjunct, they are harmonious or but I think of it more as affluent. I think other transitory angles are even more harmonious. Mm-hmm. But they are definitely, in this case, two Venus and Neptune are considered to be octaves of one another. So we're getting like a full octave range. And one's direct and one's retrograde. So a re-examining and also a looking forward of everything karmic that you experienced in this last, how many years has Neptune been in Pisces now?
12.
12, right? Yeah.
12, I think. And so that explains a lot, because legitimately with Venus retrograde, I seriously, this is hilarious because I'm so visual and so are you, that we're wearing the same shirt. It's just very funny because we call ourselves the twinsies to begin with. So we just hopped on and started doing this podcast right before we were in a meeting. So we were kind of changing hats from the business side to the creative side. So I want to back up for a second and actually introduce our episode if I could. And this is Wealth on Fire. So it's Wealth on Fire. It's sovereign self, kind of sacred circle, during Aries season, coming full 360 into who we are, which is, I think, part of the affirmations that we were working on in the podcast, right? We're going to drop some I've become 360 affirmations. That's going to be something that our listeners can now download, right? And then on YouTube. Is that correct, Scott? They're going to have access to
I hope so. That there will be at least a monthly drop of a series of affirmations that we're going to give you guys that can coincide with the zodiac changes that are happening monthly and then, just the calendar year.
Completely. And so,
Yeah.
like, the wealth on fire piece, while we're in Aries season, what we wanted to do was we started to talk about wealth wellness. And we did that a couple of episodes ago. And it was kind of like just the beginning of a concept that I think that we're going to want to really continue to flesh out with folks, because I think that in Aries season, one of the things that we can do is we can rise as leaders in our own lives, right? I think that that's like a very positive aspect um, that Aries affords us. But none of that happens in isolation, and we're still in this Pluto into Aquarius transit that will be in for the next like 18, 19 years. And what I wanted to really focus on today was our self trust, our sovereignty, our voice, our bold moves, and kind of what happens when we are at the highest version of ourselves and we converge with community. We're no longer like that lone wolf, right? We're no longer like the isolated warrior, but we're actually able to take leadership, empowerment within our own lives where our light is shining brighter. I was explaining to somebody in the office the other day that there's something sacred about self-love that I don't know that we really talk about enough. And I think that that's part of some of the misconception we have about which direction this energy kind of runs like in. Like, I think that we were so externalized in the Piscean age with our wealth, with our abundance. Everything was like the material plane, what's outside of us, right? Not what's inside of us or radiating from us, And I think that if we can like combine our self worth, our self love, and our self sovereignty, like rolled up into one, I think that that is a foundation for wealth, wellness, and abundance that's infinite that you can only build on.
Yeah.
But why are people so scarce right now? Like in scarcity, in fear?
Yeah. Well, I feel like you tapped on those two also in possibly a rung of importance order, like the self-love would be the first rung.
First one.
Because those other two are going to be built on, fragile ground if you don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably the sovereignty second, like it would be the next rung for me anyway, because that is an embracing of your own individualized belief systems, where you belong, in touch with your feelings and your intuition, and just a belief in being an independent human in this Aquarian age of individuality and uniqueness. And then your wealth can emanate, then your wealth exists within you, and then you emanate it out, and then others can receive that back from you, and then you emanate it out for your community, because you're becoming your highest version of yourself. And that's what we each need to bring to the community, is our highest version of ourself. And then it's we, not me.
Mm-hmm. Where does owning our self-worth fit in, Scott, for like abundance and wealth, wellness, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
where does that fit in for you?
Self-worth.
Yeah.
Me,
With
I would say it might be between the self-love and the self-sovereignty. I mean,
That's what I was wondering.
like worth is like, if you don't have the self-love, you're not going to have the worth, though. You're not going to.
Right.
So it's like right underneath. But then when you have the self-love, you see your value. And then when you see your value, you can embrace it in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have your value and your worth, you feel good being a sovereign individual. and you want to then encourage that in others as well. You feel safe and secure in who you are, and then you can encourage that in others.
Mm-hmm. I think wealth is most powerful when it circulates,
Yeah.
right?
Spinning wheel.
Yeah, like a spinning wheel. And I think that beginning within ourselves, right, is probably the piece that many of us, because what's like the first thing that we learn to say when we're little, right? We're like, I love you. And, people don't know or haven't known thus far to take the time to teach the child to look in the mirror. And then after they express love, to also be able to express, I love me.
Yes.
Right? Like, I feel like that's a shift because truly abundance comes from within, right? We were talking about that a couple of like podcasts back, that abundance and wealth is like a like radio, like a bandwidth, right? Like you could tap in, like it's infinite, right? And so you have infinite opportunity to tap in, but where your frequency is what's going to determine
Yeah.
what station you tune into, right, bro?
Yeah, and again, it's so important for both sides of the wheel. And I love that. That's how astrology exists. We have the
Yes, is a wheel.
signs, like the cardinal signs are complements and opposite sides of one another, and each one are on opposite sides. But if you're only looking for love, that opposite side, then you're giving your power away. It's all to the other thing. If you're looking for the success or the wealth from the complete opposite cardinal thing, then you're giving your internal empowerment away always. So it's this is a complete restructuring of a lot of the belief systems that everybody's been fed for the last
Age,
yeah
26,000 years.
I was gonna say 2000 at least.
I mean,
BC. Yeah.
I feel like the circular, so that like came to me when I was like starting to write for like the show, right? And I was like, when wealth gets shared, okay? And the example that I'm going to use, and I was just talking to a friend about this on the phone, actually earlier today. Um, so like I love clothing, and you love clothing. And one of the things that I think is kind of funny is that sometimes people love things so much that they can't get rid of things. I don't have a problem getting rid of things. And so, like, I'll get rid of like a lot of clothing. And over the years, I've been very blessed to support like a lot of women that write to me still, that send me notes like, you don't understand. Like, I was able to get a job, like, I was able to blah, blah, blah because of clothing, right? So it's like, I've never sold my clothing. Like, I feel like I just like circulate it, like, I give it like back out to the universe, right? And it doesn't have to be a material item, it could be an energetic, like a smile, right? Like, that could be like a wealth abundance thing in and of itself. Is just like when you walk around and you smile, and then people all of a sudden like smile back, like you're circulating that wealth that comes from within your well of wealth, if you will, and I think that what it does is, by raising the vibe, I think it invites us to this place that we can heal a lot of wounds around scarcity, like, and other things, right? Like competition, disconnection, like
Yeah.
whatever it is that people hold about wealth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Divisive thing. Like competition breeds divisiveness and also does breed lack. Like misleading belief system that there's not enough for everybody.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I think.
Right. Remember the conservation of energy in physics. All energy is if wealth is just a form of energy and it only can be transferred from one form to another, then it's all wealth has always been here forever, and we are just transferring the energy around within ourselves, amongst ourselves. So there is always enough, and there's the amount that always has been.
So the only time when people create like competition or scarcity is it's because from within them, that's what they're working through. It's not because of the external environment.
100%.
Right? Like, I just really want to invite that because I know right now, especially in America, there's a lot of folks that are feeling super disempowered.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things about Empowerment Unleashed now, really like exploring that inner authority is the exploration of a new paradigm of what an empowered life, what a life of infinite abundance, what a life of wealth wellness really looks like. Because money is not what it's about, right? Money is not.
Yeah.
Money's just energy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to explain that to people. And like, if you let energy control you, you're going to get on a slippery slope that you're not going to have fun with. I'm sorry. I think it's Robert Kawasaki, like the great business, like advisor, investor, who said, if you worry about money, money will give you something to worry about. And literally, Scott, and I think that you and I'm still just cracking up throughout this entire broadcast that we were wearing the same shirt. Like, we're going to start checking in with
somewhat. Mine's not denim.
What is
Mine's corduroy.
linen?
Mine's corduroy.
Corduroy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to see the texture. So yeah, if you worry about money, money will give you something to worry about. So like the vibration is what you're bringing to the experience that's creating the next happening, right?
Yeah, I would even say you could apply that to anything. You worry about X.
Completely.
You want to bring you the worry. And that's just
completely.
Physics. Yeah.
And so like I tried years ago this experiment of just not, I don't know if I publicly want to admit this, Scott. So, okay, I'm just going to come out with it. So I am not the most technological of people. Like the fact that we like get this broadcast done, the fact that like I can write this, I get it printed nice, like it's just all like the grace of God. And so I have resisted. Bro, we've never had this conversation. I feel like you might be similar in this vein.
I'm eager to hear.
I have resisted online banking. Resisted it. Here where I live, have a local branch. I love to go into it. And when I was deep in my healing and spending like gobs of money on my healing, I decided that I was going to take a new approach. And I was going to maybe like just intuitively check in with like my money. And now, mind you, it's not like I'm an irresponsible business owner. I have graphs, I have bars, I have charts. I know what like I'm doing to an extent. And so if I have access to the data, why do I need like this like whole thing online, right? So I still hand do a lot of my transactional stuff, like, with my business account. And I'm proud of it. Maybe. So I go to the bank probably about quarterly. And I do a check-in. And it's usually the balance is pretty much where I thought it was or higher than I thought it was. Okay. And the reason that I started to do this was because I knew that if I stayed in scarcity, like, oh my God, I'm spending so much, like, this is terrible. Like, it would have not been healthy. And it would have affected some of the outcomes, I believe, right? So I say all of this to say that my relationship with currency, and I'm using that intentionally, currency, is now based on how I frequently feel, okay, and what I'm plugging into within the collective and what I'm vibing out that's coming back. Like that's really what wealth wellness, I think, is about if you want to tap into your most abundantly wealthy self. Because if you hang out in abundance, believing, knowing, and I'm not talking about being delusional. I'm talking about like an exchange that's real, like, okay, I do this for this. And I have an awareness that this for this is a fair, healthy exchange.
Yeah. It's good that you pointed out this. It's not delusional. It's a feeling that it feels fair because you can even like be in a position to pay a steep price tag for something, and it's not really a blip on your accounting, but sometimes it doesn't feel good. If
Right.
it isn't right, and obviously in the other direction too, not not having enough for something. But that's a good thing to tap into because that is cultivating the right relationship with energy exchange, period, I think, is how it feels when you're exchanging your energy for something else. Like that can roll over into relationships and
Yes.
a lot of other things that are
Your health.
your health. Yeah, your physical will be like what you eat, what's the energy exchange I'm going to get back for this afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like some of this Aries like time is like, how can you make some inspired money moves with like a collective twist?
Mhm.
Right. And so I heard something, and it's actually a friend of ours, somebody that you know, our friend Mark. I'm just gonna say Mark W. Okay. Um, he has a charity. And one of the things that so he's going to be a speaker at a conscious capitalism event that's here in Nashville called Unite the Light. Scott and I are going to be there, and he's done an entire charity without ever asking for a donation.
Wow, impressive.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to put that level of like bold Aries kind of inspired action out there.
Virgo as fuck.
Huh? What did you say?
Mark is Virgo as fuck.
Shh, don't out him too much. We don't want to say
Yeah.
he is until he's ready. But
Well done.
no, it's like, well done, Jedi Master, right? And so, like, what? And again, this goes back to the circle. Okay, so like he's created his abundance, right? And able to never ask for a donation, but to circulate it. Okay. Circulating his abundance to create greater abundance for himself and others. Because he is a Virgo. Let's not kid ourselves. He's doing it for himself also. And they have a very healthy, good boundary with that. So we should all take a lesson out of Mark W.'s page. But I say this because the sharing of resources, the sharing of tools, the sharing of referrals, reviews, right? That's what reviews really are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really like a sharing in the most positive sense. I'm sure there's bots out there and people that just whatever or in a gnarly space that do it. But like that's a sharing of abundance, if you will, of experience with others. And I just feel like, sovereignty is not about going solo. It's like actually about choosing your direction and knowing that your circle's got your back.
Yes.
Not that you have a circle on your back.
Well, did you plan that? That's very well put.
No, I didn't. It just came out.
Because it can feel like you have a circle in your back sometimes when you first enter into your sovereignty. A circle with a smaller circle in the middle of it.
Some people call that the target. But
Yeah.
I'm really, I just, and that's something sovereignty is not about going solo.
No.
No, it's about a knowing and a choosing, right? It's like a knowing and then taking the action around that knowing. And that knowing needs to come from the heart. Right? I mean, that's where if we believe it from here, then we know it is true.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Independence is solo either. Yeah, I agree. Sovereignty is more like an independence than it is a solo thing.
yes, it's an independence. And I think that there's some shadow work that we kind of need to visit that Aries kind of get like a bad rap for. And I think that a lot of times, it's like isolation, that they choose like ego over empathy, that they're hyper independent, and I think that what Aries are becoming now that we've kind of come to the dawn of a new age is I think that they are the leaders without dominating. I think that they're the I am and the we are at the same time.
Mm.
And I feel like that is kind of like a thriving without a hoarding is like what I'm getting in. Because I think that sometimes that scarcity can creep in of is there enough? Is there enough? Like, there's so this whole thing of abundance and wealth wellness, I feel like the breakdown has been in not knowing the sovereign self because we don't trust the sovereign self, right? If we trusted our sovereign self, I don't think we would have problems with abundance.
Yeah.
Is that true?
And I'm realizing too, like with this collective Aries feeling like the difference between like naivete and innocence, often Aries associated with that first,
Yeah.
sign in the zodiac and I had always perceived like a naivete to it, but also like when you're choosing innocence, like when you're choosing beginner's mind, that's even a different level of wisdom than just a blind naivete. When you're choosing to have like a more innocent, pure heart, which is where your independence can come from, like staying within your own personal innocence, like that's something you want to maintain. So, and when naivete no longer exists, when you've had a life experience to rip naivete to shreds, but then you still maintain your innocence, which then can lead to your independence and sovereignty. Like, yeah, that's a massive place of strength and empowerment there because it's done with awareness.
Right. It's like true power isn't really proved, it's shared.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
Yeah.
shared. And I think that's kind of what you're getting to because, like,
Yeah, power has a bad rap. Like, power is not, I mean, in the Capricorn Pluto era, it was about top down, it's about control.
yes.
But like in the new era, it's about shared liberty,
Shared liberty, shared empowerment.
shared empowerment.
Shared empowerment, right? To me, that's like what liberty, that's what that's about. But so I want to invite listeners this week, and this is going to be an interesting question to ask yourself, where do I give away my power financially? That's like an actionable, like a journal, I thought we would just give like a couple of journal and like embodiment suggestions.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to also ask folks to identify who uplifts your vision and how can you circulate energy back to them. I actually try to make that a daily practice. It's part of my gratitude practice. And so like
that one a lot.
yeah. So identifying who uplifts my vision and how can I circulate my energy back, right? It's that circle again, right? The circulating, creating that. And I'm just going to kind of I'm not trying to like bust on the affirmation like territory, dude. Like I'm not.
Yeah, rocket.
I'm not doing that, but I wanted to give like a somatic mantra, like, that we could just like do, which is I am sovereign. I belong. I rise. We rise.
Mm.
And that really is a somatic mantra that I'm just trying to take in, right? That I'm sovereign, I belong, I rise, we rise. And that's kind of like one of the embraces that I'm trying to create for my own personal self during Aries season. And I wanted to see, yeah.
I just saying, I love that notion going forward in affirmation awareness, just like I and we. Like you can follow the same statement with a we quite often, and that might be the way forward.
It might be, bro. I wanted to try that on for us. You know what I mean? And just give that one a whirl.
Love it.
I'm being bold in the Aries season. It's not just my roots that are being bold. I'm so thankful that like we're not wearing both like the same denim shirts, that it's corduroy, but it's close enough that we're gonna have to coordinate our outfits going forward in the future. I wanted to just say thank you to like all of our listeners and like the people that are sharing this and like actually taking the time, that are listening, that are forwarding it, that are making comments. We are so appreciative for your support. And I just really wanted to acknowledge our gratitude for y'all. So I appreciate you so much, bro. I just want to share my gratitude for you and say thank you for all that you do for the podcast and for us going forward. And to our producer, Noah, I'm just like having a gratitude moment. And I just wanted to see, bro, if you want to lead us on out with an affirmation.
Sure. It'll be great.
Thank you.
I am sovereign. We are sovereign. I circulate my energy to those I'm grateful for. I receive energy from those I am grateful for. I'm aware that power is shared. Power is not control. I am empowered.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you for sharing this time space with us. Be blessed and peace be with y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now. All right, bro. That's another one.
Another one.
Amazing, guys. I'm being conscious of the reverb, but that was phenomenal.
Oh my God, we did it. All right. Now I'm going to go get an Orion tattoo.
Right on. I might have to do that one once I see it. I might have to get that with you.
You'll see if you're down with it. I know Shannon.
Because Mintaka is one of those.
Mintaka is the one to the west.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So you got played Mintaka. Yeah.
I'm recording on.
The west is always best.
Yeah.
This is our little after show, little conversation that can actually be used for going forward with our new social media. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I'm going to go see Mr. Travis and have him put some indelible ink into my body. I appreciate you. I'm glad that we're on the same wavelength, but not completely.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Love you too. Talk to you soon. See you in the morning.
Oh, that's right. Tomorrow's Friday. Woo!
Yeah, see you in the morning.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Empowerment Unleashed Now. Please subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and let us know how this helped you.
Join us right here every week for another episode.